Up questions. Mr. DeVries, could you please provide the committee all the NCATs or other pen test reports conducted in the last year? Is that something you could provide the committee?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, thank you. We'd appreciate it if you do that. And then, Mr. Phelan, one of the sad realities of what happened when Director Archuleta was in place is this hack had legacy systems online that dated back to 1985. And my understanding is even if you applied for a job and didn't get a job with the federal government, you did it after 1985, you might have been in that system. What are you doing to take sort of the non-active records so they're not online and thus accessible to some hacking? Have you made any adjustments there?
To be honest, sir, I don't know. I know we have done a tremendous amount, you've heard it earlier today, in securing the systems, and I'm very comfortable that we have both the barriers on the front end and the ability to, my words, fight sort of a active shooter online on the network, should it appear. I don't believe we've taken a tremendous amount of this and put it offline because it needs to be accessible for any future work that we do.
To a degree. I mean, you know, somebody retired in 1991, and then all of a sudden we have a hack in 2014. That does kind of beg the question, why is that system? Mr. Halverson looks like he has some.
The new system will have tiered storage on it, both in terms of what's live, what goes back, and it will take into consideration some of the things you said. If you are offline for a while, that will go into a different storage system, and it will be much harder to access.
It seemed like one of the lessons we should have learned is for the non-active employees. And again, there may be a period of time, you all are more experts on it than we are, but after a certain amount of time, maybe it should be, you know, more sitting in some mountain somewhere as opposed to online. Two last questions. Who's in charge? When there's conflict, disagreement, when there is an attack, who ultimately is in charge?
So through my program, we actually have a process that we implemented based on the lessons learned from the 2015 breach. And there is a communication path that routes up into the director's office through the CIO with the severity and any data or details related to that incident.
So who's in charge?
So
who ultimately makes the hard decision? If there's a disagreement, a question, you got the DOD, you got OPM, something's not, who is the ultimate decision maker?
So I'd like to take that on. If it's on the current system that OPM and I as the CIO am responsible for, I do that.
Okay.
On the new system within the NBIS as we transition to it, DOD will.
Okay. So that would be Mr. Halverson or whoever's replacement is.
Correct.
That is correct.
Okay. Last question. Mr. Halverson, you have the freedom of retirement running around the corner here. So given that your years of service, your perspective, your expertise, summarize for us, what should the Congress understand? What are your greatest frustrations and concerns and your best suggestions that you can offer us?
Well, first, I'll thank Congress. As you know, working through many of the members here, we did get the Cyber Accepted Service law, which I do think was the first thing that we needed to get done to recruit and move past some of the things that were blocking our ability. I do think we are going to have to reevaluate the pay scale for cybersecurity personnel and some other key positions. We do rely on patriotism. We can recruit people a lot for that, but the pay disparities are getting out of hand. I mean, I will tell you, I have lost 6 or 7 people this year, very good, basically because they could not anymore turn down the offers. And I can't counsel them against that after a certain point. I'm
totally convinced that you're right, and I hope that this Congress, I plan on helping to champion some legislation to give more realistic assessment to provide that flexibility, because I do think you're right.
And I think the other most important thing that we do, and I have said this before, I will keep saying it, I do think the secret weapon of our country to keep our security, keep our edge in warfighting, is better use of our industry and commercial mobility and agility. You have seen, we've talked about this, DOD, we are embarking to bring as much commercial into these activities. We are doing it with this system as the build of the new. We need to continue that, and we need to continue that across the foreign government, across the federal government space. That also means we will have to work and raise the bar for industry on security. Well, I'll be the first to say that DOD included, we have to get better in our security practices, and I am heartened by what I see in my discussions with the commercial community. They are starting to take that to heed, and we are seeing a rise in their ability to protect data. We need to encourage that and open up our dialogue with the commercial sector on how best to do that and share more information.
Again, Mr. Halverson, we thank you for your service, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck in whatever your future endeavors take you, and thank you again for your service. Let me recognize